For this lesson, we are going to be looking at percent proportion problems. So we use percent proportions when we are using percentages to compare numbers. We're going to set up a proportion like this. So that first ratio is comparing part of something or of a quantity to the whole quantity. And the second ratio is the equivalent percent out of 100. So we have these four parts. It's set up like this. One thing that to note is that the word is kind of clues you into the part. The word of clues you into the whole. So what I'm going to write on the side here is kind of the order in which I go about filling out my proportion. First thing I do right away is write the 100 because no matter what, that 100 is always in the bottom right. Second thing that I fill out is the percent because I think that's the easiest thing to pull out of the sentence because it'll either have the percent sign or the word percent. Then it can be tricky to decide between the part and the whole. What I look for is the whole because what I'm going to note is it comes after the word of. And then last, I look for the part. And that is that keyword of is. The reason I don't do the part first is sometimes the part comes before is, sometimes it comes after is. And then below is just kind of going through those steps and showing some example visuals that you can refer to. We are going to flip over and look at these problems. So first up, what is 20% of 60? So you can certainly solve these problems without a proportion. We'll do that later on in this unit. Right now, we're just going to set it up as a proportion because that just kind of that requires less thinking. You just plug it into where it needs to be, and then you need to solve. So first step, writing it out of 100. Next up, we look for that percent. So right away, I'm find that percentage. That goes right on top of the 100. Then third step was looking for the word of, and I'm going to highlight here the word of and what number comes after that, 60, that tells us the whole. So the whole is 60, which means what we are solving for is the part, which makes sense. It says what is. So we don't know the is, the part. And now we're going to solve. So the two numbers in the same diagonal that I'm going to multiply are 60 and 20. So I'm going to multiply 60 times 20. And I get 1,200. Then we are going to divide by 100 to get 12. There's no units, so we're just writing 12. Okay, number 2. 12 is 75% of what number? So again, first step, every single percent problem out of 100. Second step, look for that percentage. I see 75%. My percent goes on top of the 100. Third step, look for the word of and what comes after. So I see of right here. It says of what number? So it doesn't give me a number. We don't know the number. That means that is going to be my variable. So my whole is going to be the variable. And that leaves our other number, 12 is the part. Now that our proportion is set up, we can solve. The diagonal that has two numbers in it is right here. So we're going to multiply 12 times 100, which is 1,200. And then we're going to divide this by 75 to get 16. All right, number 3. 6 is what percent of 8? First step, just like all the others, out of 100. Next step, looking for the percent. So this time, these other two, they had percent signs in it. This one doesn't, but I see the word percent, and it says what percent. So it doesn't actually give us the percentage. We don't know it. That means that is our x, our unknown. Third, I'm looking for that keyword of and the number that follows. So it says of 8. That tells me that the whole is 8. So our other number, 6, is the part. Now we can solve. And I know some of these are maybe easier to calculate in your head as we're practicing here, but it doesn't always work out that way, or it's decimals or whatnot. So we're still going to practice using the proper solving for proportions. So we're going to do 6 times 100 is equal to 600. Divide that by 8, and we get 75%. So this one I am including kind of the units per se there of a percent sign. Okay, number 4, 12.5% of what number is 24? Step 1, always out of 100. Step 2, we find our percentage of 12.5. Step 3, look for the word of and what follows. It's not a number that follows, it says of what number. That means we don't know that number, we don't know the whole, so our whole is the variable. And then what's left over is 24 is the part. So let's go ahead and solve. Our two numbers that are in the same diagonal right here, we're going to multiply 24 times 100, which equals 2,400. And then we're going to divide by our other number of 12.5, and we get 192. All right, last one. First step, just like the rest, out of 100. Next step, look for that percentage. 154%. Yes, we can calculate percentages over 100. Look for that keyword of and what follows of 400 tells us that the whole is 400. And then that means what's left over here, we don't know. What number is, we don't know that part. So we can solve. We're going to multiply those two diagonals. 400 times 154 to get 61,600, and then we're going to divide that by 100 to get 616. And think logically here. 400 is 100%, so 154% is going to be bigger than that, more than half of that added to it. So that answer makes sense. And that's it.